Is that going to YouTube? Hello, people. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk. I'm your host, Nathan. I've got Tom here with me, and I've got Spencer. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing exceedingly well. I just got up from a nap, and I feel very rejuvenated for the show.
How are you, Spencer?
I've seen better days, but I've seen worse days, so
yeah,
I'm good.
Okay. Well, let's make a start. Baterviev beats Callum Smith in pretty brutal fashion. Wow, it was brutal. Straight from the word go, he went in there. He started hitting with power shots. Smith looked out of his depth by the second round. What did you think, guys?
You want to go first, Spencer? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Colin Smith didn't have he wasn't whatever he needed to do, he wasn't doing against Baterviev because he couldn't stop him. Baterviev is like the damn truck, but he does get hit. Baterviev does get hit. That's what I could take away from it. He does get hit.
What I saw was that Callum Smith did the same thing he did against Canelo. Instead of going lateral, he backs up to the ropes and tries to counter with a hook. And you can't do that with a guy like Baterviev because that's what he excels at. You standing still and him just unloading. His counter punching was effective in the second round, but he was counting on getting that double left hook off, and he just couldn't get it off well enough. And Baterviev just kept walking him down, kept pounding him and pounding him and pounding him, and he just couldn't get away. If he kept it in the center of the ring, it would have been a much better fight for him, but he was just overwhelmed by the strength of Baterviev. Now, I think Bivol will be a different fight. I think Bivol will move and not let himself get caught on ropes like that.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. He does take punches, but I don't know. This guy is so conditioned. Even he's 40 now. I mean, but his conditioning is amazing.
Like he's getting a little bit better as the years are going on.
He's just inhumanly strong. What do you think, Nathan?
I feel that Baterviev obviously get him in the ring with Bivol straight away. I still pick Bivol to win that fight based on his boxing skill alone. But also from Callum Smith, what concerned me was he had those two easy fights, right, when he lost to Canelo and went up to 175. And having easy fights like he had of those two knockout wins is not good preparation for an elite light heavyweight. And another thing I wanted to point out was he's done it the wrong way. They rushed him. They should have given him a few more fights at light heavyweight, give him somebody a bit better like a Smith, like the other Smith guy.
Yeah.
Give him better people that are durable, but at the same time, don't give him somebody too hard. He could, if he carried on, he could have picked up a vacant belt at some point down the time.
I agree with that. The level of his opposition. I mean, if you look at the difference between the level of opposition between the two of them as to who they fought, coming up and then getting their titles and whatnot, he did not fight the same level of competition as Baterviev did.
No, but not
and
like
he wasn't fighting a lot recently. So,
but super middleweight, he can only beat what's put in front of him. So therefore, that was good enough. But at this level,
he won the Super Series at 168. So kudos to him on that feat.
But I think against other styles, he'll do better against. I just think it's a matter of the style, and also the concussive punching. Put him in there with somebody who's, match him with lighter punches, like they did with Nathan Cleverly. He couldn't take people who could punch. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it? Choose your matches carefully.
True enough.
Well, he's never been knocked down before, let alone knocked out, right?
No, he hasn't.
Right.
No, but I mean, Canelo nearly did it, but
He just made the same mistakes. They had the right game plan for him.
yeah, it's all it is, isn't it? It's just the tactics.
Yeah, Bivol might like you said. Bivol might not get caught up on the ropes. He might
No,
move
he would. He probably would.
laterally.
But I think Bivol is a different quality fighter compared to Smith. I mean, he beat Canelo, so therefore he's good enough to beat Bivol. I mean, to beat Petrovic. Can he take the punches? That's all we got. That's all we have to say. If he can't take the punches, then obviously he's going to get knocked the fuck out.
Petrovic, if he gets off clean shots, it might. What Bivol does well might slow down if Petrovic can get to him and catch him enough.
I think this fight makes Petrovic look better than what he is because of his age. This fight, the way Callum Smith is not elite, it's obviously made him look better than what he is, isn't it? With what he's left. So we don't really know what Petrovic has got left until he gets in there with someone who's elite like himself, right?
Yeah,
great fight. It would be a great fight.
Because Bivol in his way of fighting might tire Petrovic out from trying to catch up to him, and that might weaken him up.
Possibly. I just
see. Makes it so entertaining, man. So great.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll score. He'll definitely score. His hands are fast. His feet are fast. He has a different style. He does occasionally go to the ropes. He did with Canelo, but I think he won't do it here. I think that's what's going to be a big difference in this fight. I think he's going to try to keep it in the center of the ring, and I don't think he's as strong as Bivol, but I think his will is as strong as Bivol's.
Yeah.
But don't forget when Beterbiev unified the title against the other Russian guy who stopped Adonis Stevenson.
He's Ukrainian.
Right. He's Ukrainian. Right. I forgot his name. But anyway.
Gvozdyk.
Gvozdyk. That guy could move as well. But occasionally, when he would get caught, those punches were so strong.
But remember, also in that fight, Gvozdyk was catching Beterbiev.
Yeah.
It was Beterbiev caught up to him in I think the 10th round. That was like one of the longer fights that Beterbiev had.
That was his longest fight. He never went to decision in any of his championship fights. He even beat Usyk in the amateurs.
Yeah, so it's a Bivol little bit more seasoned, I think, than Gvozdyk was at that point, because Gvozdyk was a new champ. He had just came off beating Stevenson. He didn't have a lot of the top level fights in time. Stevenson was still, he was 40. So
guys, we need to move on. Really.
All right.
Was going to be a real day. The next fight is for the 12th of May. Is scheduled. It hasn't been written on BoxRec yet, but they're saying Lomachenko will be fighting Kambosos for the vacant lightweight title. Is that correct, Spencer? Is it the lightweight belt?
It would be would it be? Probably, because that's what Kambosos fights at.
Right, but I thought he moved up in weight his last fight.
But they don't have no vacant. They wouldn't be fighting for the 140 belt.
No, they wouldn't.
135, wouldn't it? It'd be 135.
It'd have to be.
Yeah, it would have to be 135. So, yeah, Lomachenko IBF title on the line, Kambosos.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Lomachenko.
I'd pick Lomachenko to win. I think.
Yeah, I think Lomachenko beats him too.
Kambosos,
I got to be honest. When he fought Haney, I thought he at least had a draw with Haney.
The problem with Kambosos is that he's limited. He's good, but he's limited. You know what I mean? As we've seen against the top guys, he's very limited.
You think the fight versus Haney was a draw with Lomachenko?
I thought Lomachenko, in terms of power punches, scored more in that fight.
I think he could have called it a draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was close. I'm not taking anything away from Haney. I mean, Haney Haney had a good jab and he did well, but I think Lomachenko wound up scoring more power punches against him. I mean, a couple of times he had him, he reeled him a couple of times. So, but it was time for Haney to move out of that division anyway. But I don't know, it was close. It was closer than what I thought on the scorecards. At least in my opinion, it could have been a draw. That's my opinion.
Well, 7-5 ain't bad. So,
No, it's close. That means it could have gone either way if depending. But anyway, it is what it is.
Right. Let's.
yeah, I think good Lomachenko wipes the floor with Kambosos, though.
He should do because of how limited Kambosos is. Right. Let's move on to number 3, which is something to do with the Saudi card. Zhang will be defending in the WBO interim heavyweight title against Joseph Parker on the Joshua and Garner undercard. This is a close one.
Spencer, go.
I think Joseph Parker might beat him.
Should, but I don't know. I think he edges it. A scrappy decision.
Who Parker?
Parker edges it, but only just, I think.
I think Parker might stop Zhang in like the later rounds.
Well, that's a possibility for sure. Unless Zhang is big and punches really hard, and the first 3 to 5 rounds, he could get you out if he catches you.
Yeah, but Parker, he might be training to stay away from that power punch because you see what he did. He stayed away from Wilder's right hand all night.
Right.
And even stunned Wilder a couple of times. So, he just got to stay away from Zane's left. So, but Zane is southpaw, right?
Yeah, a southpaw, and he's a big southpaw. He's much bigger in terms of size than
Yeah.
And he's not. Deontay was away a long time and had 3 really tough fights with Fury, so it's going to be hard. I think it's a dangerous fight for Parker. He's got to handle him in the opening rounds. He's got to do that in the opening rounds.
I'd have to pick Zhang as the slight favourite. Really, only just.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we'll see. Parker can box, but he just has to be careful in those first 5 rounds, or else
he can stay away from the big punch. Which I know they'll find a plan. They'll find some sort of plan for him to box around him, so he won't engage too much. It'll just be like arm hitting, get away, get out of there, sensible.
If you compare Joe Joyce versus Zhang, right, and look at Joe Joyce versus Parker, the difference is he's a southpaw, Zhang, and he's a harder puncher. But Parker fought Joe Joyce really well, but eventually he succumbed to power shots after the 5th round. So he can probably do it for 5 rounds, but he can't get caught, or else he's going to go bye-bye.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
He's got good power as well. He has got a knockout punch there, Parker, if he wants to, but we'll see what happens. Right, let's move on to Trejo Ages Gonzalez to retain the WBA and WBC and WBA 108 pound championships. Who watched this?
God damn.
I put highlights up on it. Well, I'll just say this briefly. We don't have to stay on it. It was a great fight.
Is it strawweight? What weight is it? Strawweight or is it miniweight or is it flyweight?
It's I think it's strawweight.
Nobody watches that level. Nobody watches that. I mean, I couldn't say who the other champions are. Or is it the minimum weight? Yeah.
No, I think there's a weight below that. Hold on.
Strawweight,
yeah.
Oh dear. Well, anybody got anything to say on this?
Well, it was fun to watch. Let's put it that way. It was a very, very good fight. Let's see what exact weight was because I don't remember. Straw weight and boxing. What is this mixed martial arts? Give me boxing. Do you believe this? Like I put boxing and that doesn't come up boxing. It comes up MMA.
Current boxing champions, and it will come up with
Boxing weight classes. So here's strawweight. There was some good fighters down in strawweight. Okay, minimum weight is 105. Junior flyweight is 108.
Which is
minimum.
what is strawweight?
It doesn't
minimum. They
say.
call
I
it the same
think they
thing.
have changed it to junior flyweight or minimum weight.
Or maybe minimum weight.
That's what the
But they used
WBC.
to have
Man, it's funny. We used to have strawweight. What the hell happened here?
The WBC decided to change the name of it. Right.
Oh.
Let's talk about something else. And Billy wants Canelo in his next fight after his win, which was for the WBC Continental belt.
Did you see the win? Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. It was good. Good fight.
Spencer?
Yeah, I've seen him, Billy. He might get Canelo, but Canelo could beat him, but it's gonna be an interesting fight.
He reminds me of Dwight Braxton, Muhammad Qawi, the way he fights.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that short, really stocky, and big back, and just goes in and just mauls you. How Canelo would deal with that, it would be interesting.
Yeah, I think Canelo would have enough experience and boxing skills to deal with it. We've seen him fight superior fighters to him, Billy.
I think Canelo's choices are getting smaller and smaller. In terms of
that's why I say he might fight him. He's a mandatory for Canelo, so.
Well, we've seen Canelo not fight and just give up the belt, right?
Well, which he probably could do this time. He could afford to do it. He doesn't have to defend all the belts.
Yeah, but if he gives up his belt, it would have to be for a intriguing fight.
Yeah, big money fight. I don't know how much longer he's going to hang around. He said 4 years. I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think how much longer Canelo can carry on at the level. In each fight I see him in now, he's slipping and slipping. Against John Ryder, he won, but he struggled. He looked pretty dreadful, in my opinion. Each fight now, we just expect him to keep the bet. He's getting like to that Roy Jones stage where he's only one, massive loss away. Forget
he said he ain't gonna fight a Mexican, so I don't know if he'll fight Munguia, but
no, he wouldn't.
He may. That would be a big payday in Mexico for him.
Yeah. But he's not ready to retire yet. If he does fight Munguia, I think it's to pass the torch to him.
Munguia is an easy fight.
Maybe they'll put a card for him over in Saudi Arabia where he can make a ton of money, And we'll see.
That's true.
Because he's not fought there, has he?
Canelo, because he make enough money here. He don't need to go over there.
Yeah, but he could make a lot more money there too.
No, he could. But he could fight in Billy over there. That could be a fight he could have in Saudi Arabia. But he's also a Mexican person, and he likes to fight during those Mexican days.
Right.
So,
it'll be a different audience over there.
Yeah, you can't have to think of the Mario stuff going on and all of that in May, and then the Mexican independence in September. The same over there. So.
Well, money has a way of changing people's ideas.
Yeah, without question. If they give him 100 million, 150 million, he might be like, all right, I'll fight there.
Hey, I'm going.
Well, let's change the subject now. Maloney defeats Sanchez in a close fight. Who watched this?
I watched some of it. Spencer?
I've seen it. I can't really remember it so much. Do I think Sanchez won this fight? I think Sanchez won the fight.
Yeah,
it wasn't a knockout, was it?
No, it was a decision, and it was.
Right. I thought Sanchez won this fight, but they gave Maloney like 8 rounds to 4, some craziness, or 10-2. I was like, yo.
One was even. One judge was even, and then I think it was like 116, 112 with 2 other judges. And I didn't see 116, 112. I saw it closer than that. In fact, I thought Sanchez was very, very competitive and almost shot for shot with him. It was very close.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
You see it, Nathan?
No, I didn't get the chance to see it.
It was a good fight, but I think I don't know, it's kind of like a hometown decision to me.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely, because he's like,
sorry,
come
you
on.
talked about the Jones fight. Yes, I did. Sorry, I did see it. Yeah.
So what did you
I'd
think?
say it was a draw. To be honest, I thought it was a draw. I did.
Okay.
Which I think is fair enough.
Well, yeah, I thought they gave him the nod, because it was it was in his hometown, I think, right?
They did give the nod because it was in the hometown. It was clearly, but I'm just saying it's a draw just to be partial.
Well, you always tell the truth.
I think it
Your
was kind of
truth.
a draw. I thought it was a draw.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think Jonas will take the rematch. Why she doesn't want it? She obviously doesn't want it. Why would you? It's too dangerous.
Oh, we're talking about Jones versus defeated Mayer, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, Jonas gave up. She actually went down the weight. She was the 154. She was a welterweight, held 3 belts at super welterweight, right? And then this was and she won this IBF welterweight belt about 3 fights back. And Jonas, she's had a good career. She's 37, 38. She's coming to the end. She had a long sort of amateur career. She's been a pro for about 5 years. It's all come very late in her career.
I thought Mayer used her head as a basketball.
Yeah, Mayer's a good fighter.
She was scoring really clean on her head.
The problem with Jonas is she started at super featherweight, right? And then went at 3 weights to super or whatever. Started at featherweight or whatever it was, and then went up to super welterweight because there was nobody for her to fight.
Right.
So because all the belts are easier to win at 154 than they were at her own natural weight, which is crazy.
Yeah, she had to deal with Serrano and Taylor and all those other people in between.
Yeah, and those were good fights too.
I mean, it's the same at heavyweight in boxing, right? There was that woman who lost to, what's her name? Who's the best fighter in the women's division? I've forgotten her name.
Shields?
That's it, yeah. She fought Shields. Hannah Grelis fought Shields, and yet she was the heavyweight champion in women's. See what I mean? The disparities of it.
Yeah, women go up and down because there aren't enough opponents, so they'll go up.
Without being nasty, the standard just isn't there, is it? It's getting there, but it just isn't there at the minute.
The competition's getting better overall, yeah.
Yeah, the top.
Yeah, when you get more competitors, more participants, rather, the need for some of these fighters to to make drastic jumps in weight classes will probably be reduced.
You have to remember the problem with women's boxing is you could have welterweights. You'd probably have 20 registered welterweights, right? Probably only 6 or 7 of them are professional. The rest are probably mothers or whatever, or school teachers or whatever. You know what I mean? They're not fully pros, are they? They're only part.
Yeah, they go to the gym and practice and box a little bit, hit a bag or whatever the case is, but they're not really
professional life. That's the difference.
When are we going to have a man and a woman fight?
I hope it never happens. It's ridiculous.
It's happened before, and mostly the women have lost. I mean,
Clarissa Shields against Rolly Romero, I'd pay to see that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
She'd probably kill Rolly Romero.
No, I think Rolly would. She could definitely outbox him, but, once the power comes in, it's a different story.
I'd love to see her beat him up. That would be funny.
Well, yeah, that would be fun. I love Clarissa. I love her, but Coleman out to try to, fight even Keith Thurman, who hasn't fought in so long.
Yeah.
I think she would get hurt.
Right, let's go to the next thing.
Yeah, she
Munguia.
couldn't beat a guy of Keith Thurman's level. But like the way people make it seem is that she can't be. There's like 1,000 welterweights, right? 1,000, just say 1,000 guy in any weight division. To say that she can't beat maybe number 1,000 is crazy.
She
It is
would.
possible that she could beat.
She could beat the guys.
She could beat like 900 and below.
Well, she could beat guys who are ranked 999 or 1,000 or 800 in the way.
Yeah, you know. So
who was the what? I know this is an aside, but there was a female who was a great boxer. I don't think ever lost to another woman, maybe towards the end. And she fought a guy who was just so, and he knocked her out. I forgot her name.
I know Ann Wolf was nice.
No, well, Ann Wolf is somebody. Depends. But no, this was the gal. She was from England, wasn't she, or in Europe?
Jane Couch.
No, she was.
I don't know.
I don't know if she was mixed race, but she was dark.
I can't remember. It's probably.
She was in Pretty Baby. She was the opponent who.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll find that.
20 years ago.
And you mean $1 Million Baby?
Yes.
Yeah. Talking of Ann Wolf, I don't think Ann Wolf would be able to beat Clarissa Shields, do you? Even in her prime. I mean, literally, I don't think so.
Ann Wolf was a tough customer, but I don't think so. And I think Ann Wolf was a heavyweight.
Right,
Yeah,
she was too big.
She was around at a time when there were limited fights. The field back then of boxing was very limited to what it is today, you know?
Yeah. And Wolf trained James Kirkland for a while.
Right, let's talk about the next thing. Jamie Munguia against John Ryder. I'm going to pick Munguia to win by late stoppage because I think Ryder's on the way down. He's on the way.
Well, I think he's going to give him trouble, though.
Yeah, it'll go to points, but I just think that Munguia hasn't even hit his prime yet, has he?
I thought you said late stoppage. I was going to say, I think it'll go to the cards, but Munguia might win just because he's going to overwork him.
True level, because, like I say, he hasn't peaked yet, has he? You know?
Oh
no,
yeah,
he's getting a little bit better about each fight, but yeah, you're right, he ain't peaked yet.
But I'd have no problem with them matching him with guys like Ryder because that's a good test, you know. So
yeah, it's a bit better than the last time he fought at this weight because he fought at 168 last time. So
yeah, 160. Is that the?
Ryder is a tricky customer. The way he gets to you, the way he moves, the way he throws punches from angles. I think he's going to give him a good run for his money.
To be honest,
but I think youth is on Munguia's side.
As a British fan, I don't like the way John Ryder's career has been handled. I think after that loss, he should have been given Canelo should have been given a few easy fights. And then, when Canelo vacates from the belts, he's good enough to win one of the belts, the regular or something. But, if they'd managed his career a little bit better after the Canelo fight,
Yeah, this will be a hard fight.
But John Ryder's just the opponent now, isn't he? He's like the guy who they just...
Yeah, this is definitely in the hopes that Munguia wins.
He's just an opponent now, isn't he? He's just an opponent for the top guys now. Ryder, that's how I see it now. The job.
Oh, by the way, that female boxer was Lucia Riker, who fought a man and got knocked out.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an intriguing fight with Ryder. I don't know. I think he's going to connect with Munguia.
But stylistically, it is a bit of a nightmare fight because you don't know what Munguia is going to say. You don't know how John Ryder's going to adapt. Depends which side.
It's interesting. We'll see. Unless Munguia could keep, his activity level is going to be higher than Ryder's.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody's talking to him from Canelo's camp, or Canelo was telling him what to do with him, getting advice to him. Because if he wins, it's a big bout in Mexico.
Yeah, or a vacant belt. Right, let's move on to number 9, also on the Saudi undercard. Marius Bredis will be fighting Joe Opetaia for the vacant IBF belt, which is the same belt that the IBF stripped from Opetaia, which is just a dumbass move. So I'm going to pick Opetaia to win by late stoppage.
Wait, what undercard is this on? Fury and Usyk?
Yeah.
Fury and Usyk.
Yeah, like IBF, what are y'all doing? Y'all could have let Opetaia. Yo, they bugging out. They could have let him keep his title and then force him to fight Breeders next by a certain date, which they fighting next anyway. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Opetaia, late stoppage. I agree.
Well, I think they had to make a statement because the IBF is pretty strict with its rules, isn't it? I mean, it's gotten pretty strict with boxers.
How long before people start getting the IBF belts and just throwing it, they've been in shitting on it and they're just using it to what they're asking? That's about as much value their sanctioning body has now, you know.
The IBF, like it's for the starter champs, you know, the people that want to make sure they get their title shot, they'll go on IBF route. Because the IBF will, like you said, they're the more strict ones. They force the mandatory to fight the champs and all of that.
But we're talking about sanctioning body that don't like money. They strip the undisputed welterweight champion of his belt just because of their silly rule. And they give a guy who's 2 years away from the belt.
They did it with what's it called? Well, I mean, you know, they did it with AJ, with Tyson Fury, and that's how AJ got his title shot, essentially.
What annoys me about the Boots Ennis situation is that we know he was going to win a world title. Maybe it was probably 2 or 3 years away, but the way they're just giving it to him, like I just think that's ruined his career in a way. That can ruin your career sometimes if you're given a belt a year or 2 early, you know.
Especially if it's under the IBF.
But once you win a world title, there's no really going back down the level, is there? You know, not really.
Yeah, and it's under the IBF. I'm not sure who's ranked in the IBF under the welterweight for Ennis. But he can't really pick and choose opponents. He has to pick who's in, you know, unless it's Bud with one of the other titles.
If you have a lesser, you know, like a WBA belt or whatever, sometimes they're fine, or the WBC, we know they'll make it because they go on. You can have voluntaries, like all Opetaia did was wrong, was the level of opposition he fought was poor, right? But there are voluntary defences. British wasn't ready. They should have allowed it.
Or non-title fight, but you still maintain your title. You could have a non-title fight and not.
Right. Your purse won't be that good, but you know, such and such. But you can defend the belt, providing you fight Bredis. Then to have to go and fight for a belt that he's already had. To me, that is just dumb.
Yeah, because truth be told, I mean, I don't know how much he's getting from the Saudis. They might be compensating him well enough for losing the belt in the first place to fight on their card. So, but you know, essentially, he went from being the guy that gets 75% of a purse split to the guy getting 25% of a purse split, and he didn't lose the fight. He ain't losing the fight. So,
it's also the situation when Charles Martin sold his belt. Yeah, they basically said, Eddie Hearn, here's $3 million. Take it up. Thank you, sir. I'll take your money and I'll give you. And AJ, why don't I give you my belt as well? You know.
I thought it was $5 million, but.
Oh dear.
Well, I think it's going to be a good fight. You know, politics aside, because the last one was very good, and I think Briedis got injured in that fight. Opetaia, I forgot, but it went.
Opetaia had a broken jaw.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Opetaia had the broken jaw, but he still won. But
right, he won with the broken jaw.
Briedis hasn't been as active as Opetaia, so it should be really good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think I'm favoring Opetaia.
I don't know if that last fight on the day of reckoning you would call active, but hey. He was actively kicking homeboy ass for that one round he was there for.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I don't think it'll be a pushover, but I think Upatayo is going to win.
Yeah, I think late stoppage.
It could.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean,
Could happen. Yeah, could. So you want to move on to the acting field?
yeah, this is a weird one. This
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins will be playing Customata. What the fuck? Did you not?
We're trying to do Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter will be playing Customata. They couldn't have got this more wrong, could they? This casting. How is this?
Nah. Hale Hopkins is a good cast for Cuss.
No, he's doing
As far as the look.
Yeah.
They're gonna make him look like.
I met Cuss when I was very, very young. My father introduced me to him, and it was just, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, hello." Yeah, it was interesting. He was in a gym in New York. We used to have a gym in the Bronx in my old neighborhood, and they took it down. One day, Cuss.
What was Cuss's credentials? Was he a boxer himself, or just always a trainer, or what? So I don't know.
No, he was a boxer, and he had a pretty good record. Then he started training, and he had a few world champions before he got to Mike Tyson.
Floyd Patterson, right? Wasn't Floyd one of his?
Yeah, he had Floyd Patterson, and I think he had one other famous.
Did he have
fighter.
Rocky Marciano as well?
Jose Torres.
Did he have anything to do with Rocky Marciano?
Well, I'm sure they knew each other.
Wasn't Mickey based on Customata?
Mickey? No.
Mickey and Rocky.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't actually similar, but Burgess Meredith just did his own thing. Burgess was a great actor.
We're talking about a man I saw in an Elvis film, black himself, in an Elvis. Right. Anyway, I won't.
But the thing is, Cuss was very cerebral. He got into a guy's head.
Yeah.
He got like what's his name? Who Teddy Atlas tried to model himself after Cuss. Getting into the psychology of the fighter, and that's what he did. And he was able to control Mike to a certain degree that way, and keep him on the straight and narrow for a while.
Yeah.
But it should be interesting to see what he does with it, Hopkins, because it's if he comes in it as an actor, if he comes at it from that approach, where the psychological approach, I'm sure he will. He's going to be great at it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Spencer?
Yeah, I think he's going to do a good job. I mean, Hopkins is, he's a top actor.
Yeah,
I would say,
Yeah.
So, and the importance of the role, I don't think he would mail it in. Basically, I think he would for sure show up.
Cast yet in this film, or is this only a film about Customata?
If it's about Cuss, then Mike Tyson, whoever's going to be Mike Tyson, will be towards the end of his career.
And because he dies before Tyson wins the title.
Yeah, only a year before, 85.
Not long before.
Yeah, but so I know that it would be more in his probably Floyd Patterson days, his upbringing. I mean, if they was to do a story on Cuss, they would do his life. Did
Customata adopt Mike Tyson or not, legally or not?
Yes, he did.
What legally? So really?
Yeah, he did.
I didn't realize he adopted him.
Yeah. So also he had Jose Torres. Do you remember him, Jose Torres?
Yeah. And it's weird because their styles they're not really the same styles, but you could see Cuss's way of training in each one of their styles.
Yeah. No, he could definitely get into your head and definitely see. He wanted Patterson to avoid Sonny Liston at all costs. He was avoiding him for a long time. Finally, he had to take it. He had to take that fight, but he wanted no part because Sonny Liston, that's going to be in there too. You know, the fight, the 2 losses to Patterson under his training. So, you know, he had the notable ones were those 3 that he had as champions: Patterson, Torres, and Tyson. And Torres was a tough customer too. He was lean and mean for a while.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's the whole New York personality. Now he had a gym in the Bronx. I don't know if that was the gym I was in or not, but he was training out of there. I know that. And I was just, I think I was about 5 years old or 6 years old when I met him. But I remember him. I remember that day, you know, because I went to the gym with my dad about 3 times when I was that young. And they wanted to fight he wanted to fight Marciano, but Marciano retired. He vacated. So that's how Patterson got into got to the heavyweight championship. But they were all avoiding Sonny. I mean, yes, well, Sonny was just such a threat at that time to everybody. You know? So anyway, you want to move on to Zoo? You know, taking Thurman, this fight with Thurman. I think he's
but it's not for the WBA title, is it? For the 154 title, because obviously Thurman's not ranked in the top 15. You have to have a win. If you have a win, you fight anybody, you can get a win. That's how you fight. That's why they've not allowed it, because it says in the rules that if you've not had a win within like a certain amount of time, you can't fight for the title.
Right. So,
okay, so it's a non-title fight.
Yeah, but I think it's not. They're not going to have a catch weight or anything. I think it's not going to be at 154.
Yeah. But in instances, I've seen things like this happen where one time Anthony Yard wasn't ranked. He was due to have some sort of fight against to fight Koval. He had to have a win. So what they did was they sent him to fight some guy in Spain who's ranked like 400 in the world. So he got a win, and then they could rank him. I know it sounds a bit weird. They did it with Liam Smith as well in secret. He fought a secret fight.
Right. Now, his last fight was against, no, it wasn't Garcia. It was,
I don't remember.
It was Barrios, wasn't it?
Yeah, Barrios.
Right. So after he lost to Pacquiao, and then he was inactive for a while after he beat, what's his name? Garcia.
Yeah.
And then, like, he hasn't been really active for what? How long?
In the last 5 years, he's only fought twice.
Well, in 19 he fought Pacquiao, and then in 22 he fought Barrios. I mean, he's going to a guy who's fresh.
What I don't understand is, I mean, Thurman's is he 34 now?
Yeah, and
he hasn't been active for the last 5 years, really. I'm just thinking, why would they choose this fight? Obviously, it's for the name recognition, isn't it? But beating an older welterweight, to me, isn't a good thing if you're fighting at 154. If you're going towards the middleweight level, you know.
Listen, this is this is PBC's introduction to Amazon Prime. This is their first fight on Amazon Prime, and Keith Thurman usually is the fighter that they send out there for their first fight on the network.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Keith Thurman has had his time. He's not the fighter he was. He's nothing at this level at 154. I just think we need to be honest about it. They should give somebody they should give Tszyu a more live opponent. You know, he's going to be going up to middleweight in a year or two, isn't he? It don't make any sense to me. Give him some.
I just told you part of the reasoning why they're probably doing it is so from a business standpoint. Keith Thurman, I mean, we like him or not, his fights seem to bring viewers. I don't know how many pay-per-viewers they're going to bring, but
the name is. But real boxing fans, we know that he's not a 154 fight. So to me, this other than Thurman's name, this fight don't make any sense. I don't think it's even going to be close. I think Tszyu destroys him. You know, he's too small.
Well, we both know, both Spencer and I know. We both stood next to him. He's he's wide, but he's not a tall guy. He's not a big guy.
Look,
But you know what really ruined his career was that 2-year layoff.
I just think Furman's prime has been and gone. That's it. He had his 5 years as champion.
I mean, his prime is definitely past it. He's definitely past his
not
probably best years.
But he's not committed. Who goes away, loses, and has 2 fights in 5 years? I know the pandemic was to blame, but then to claim you're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I like him.
At 34, at least at 34, he ain't beat up.
Right.
No, he's not, because the only real tough fight he had was against Garcia, Pacquiao, and what's his name? And Porter. And Garcia. They're the only 4 or 5 decent fights he's had against, really top guys.
Yeah, he's become more of a family man now. That's the big thing,
Yeah.
He's got his wife is beautiful. He's got beautiful children. I mean,
Who else is on this card?
Let me have a look.
Here it is. It's up here. Ray Vargas versus Nick Ball, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mark
Okay.
Versus Gwynn. Zhang versus Parker. Joshua.
Lara's on it as well. Lara's fighting Michael Safira, supposedly, but then there's a red mark on it. It was for the WBA middleweight belt.
Right.
Here, but I don't think it's happening.
Isn't Rolly Romero fighting Isaac Cruz on this?
He is. Yeah.
Wait a minute. This is the Ngannou. It's on. Joshua's on the undercard with Ngannou on this one.
No.
No, that's
No, I'm talking.
card. I'm looking at the wrong card. Sorry.
So Keith is just a 12 round
fight.
It's just a 12 round. Then Rolly Ramirez fought defending the WBA regular belt against Isaac Cruz or whatever it is. And then Michael Severe is fighting Lara for the WBA middleweight belt. And then Sebastian Fundora is fighting Bushashak, whatever his name is, for the vacant 154 belt.
And also, you got Cordina versus Kash on this card, and Kovalev versus Safar.
I can't see about that.
And Jalovov is fighting somebody. That's what it says here on CBS Sport. Yeah, Jalalov.
On what card is that?
Fury versus Usyk. Isn't that what we're talking about?
No, we talk about the Thurman versus
Oh God, I'm not with it here. Okay, sorry.
Oh yeah, so I'll start again. Rolly Ramirez defending the WBA regular belt against Isaac Cruz. Lara's defended against Michael Zafira, who I'm surprised he's getting a title shot. Wow. And then Sebastian Fundora will be fighting Sergey Bushashak for the vacant 154 title. WBC.
Wow.
Now, since Tom wanted to speak about that card, who's on the Usyk Fury card?
Okay.
Parker. We know Parker and Zhang is on that card. Who else did you say?
Opatai and Briedis.
Opatai and Briedis, right? You said that one.
Is Cachet. Kovalev versus Safar. Lowe versus Hamadi. I don't know who that is. Featherweights. Cruiserweights. Niika, and to be announced, Jalalov to be announced, and Ituma to be announced. Those are heavyweights, the last two.
Yeah, Jalalov. I figured that's why when you was, Jalalov. I can see that. He's an ESPN fighter. He's a top-ranked fighter.
Right. So those that's the upcoming boogeyman in the heavyweight division over there.
Yeah.
Right. So looking at this card, Jalalov needs to step up now. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's been a pro for 3-4 years.
He should be fighting gatekeepers.
Yeah, Carlos Takam type people, not guys ranked 40, 50. Kovalov.
Carlos Takam.
Who is this? Shafar. Kovalov, that's a difficult fight for Kovalov. Kovalov could lose this, but I'm not.
Well, part of when you're bringing someone up is to get them to be able to fight at a very high level, get them into condition where they can go 12 rounds and win, not just knock people out. And that's, I agree, you know, about he may not be ready for that yet to be able to sustain what he does for 12 rounds. That's why, yeah, that's why some guys don't make it in the amateurs. You know, once you start going 6, 8, 10, 12 rounds, it's up.
He's always flipping between the two. He's going to go to the other Olympics as well. But I've looked at this guy who's fighting Kovalov. He's got 16 wins, ranked 16 boxer, but he's coming up from fighting 8 and 5 round fights. So Kovalov should win this pretty comfortably.
Well, we got a couple of good fights coming up, you know, which we can reserve for other shows. And we got Conor Benn coming up soon, and Lopez and
Peter Dobson.
Shaq.
Yeah, but I heard the clip. Peter Dobson is a guy who's fighting Conor Benn. I heard True School Sports because have you watched True School Sports? Is Brendan? I get on quite well with Brendan, a friend of mine. There's a channel. He goes to the gyms and he meets them. And he said that Peter Dobson is a pretty decent fighter. But looking at his record, I don't see that. I've watched him and I'm thinking, Brendan's head must be so far up these boxers' asses. You know, he must be licking some asses to get the interview. You know, have you listened to his stuff, Spencer? Do you think sometimes he goes a bit over the top? The way he says
I mean, I don't agree with his take on things a lot of times, but you know, that's his take, I guess.
I do feel like he's misinformed.
The flip side, the flip side is he probably don't agree with my takes.
If you're going to do journalism, do it honestly, but be careful how you word it. And he's saying that Peter Dobson is all this, and he's saying that Conor Benn's a hype job. Conor Benn probably is a bit overhyped because of his name, because of his last name. And they have
like you said though, there's the risk of if you come too hard at certain people, you might get a reputation around certain gyms, and you might not have access. So you try to like maybe sugarcoat or you know.
But I never would. I just tell the truth. I just speak my mind. That's why people don't like. But I don't care. But this Dobson guy, I've looked at his record. He's just average. Conor Benn's career has been clever matchmaking. It's been magic, hasn't it?
So if you was to ask Dobson a question on his preparation for Conor Benn, what kind of questions would you ask him? Would you be talking to him about?
Basically, I'd just say, what has your preparation been like? Because you've never fought anyone like him. All the people you fought are fucking shit before. So you're going to get your ass kicked. You're just going to turn and get a paycheck, isn't it? If it goes to points and he looks good and he's as good as I think he may be, then he may get some more fights with Eddie Hearn stable. But his record is shit. It's full of shit. It's full of bums. Let's just say the truth. Conor Benn, they've collected his career very carefully. So we'll put him in with a non-puncher. We'll put him with a guy who's finished at lightweight. We'll put him in with other guys. All the guys he's been in with are not hard punch. That's how they've selected. Like that Timo Schwarzkopf guy, whatever his name was. You know who I mean, don't you? Or Stefan Fort, or whatever his name was. But just look at the record. None of these guys are brutal punchers. Peter Dobson is just another name on the record. A guy who's not a hard hitter. Brandon, if you're watching this, you can keep licking people's asses, but the guy's shit. So go suck him up. Okay, all right, that's all I've got to say on that.
Okay.
We can sign off.
You're a tough man.
You're a fucking idiot. And you should get a real job, mate, rather than just trying to be a boxing thing because you're not, mate. You're a fucking idiot. Right, let's go. I'm just going to end this and then we'll stay on the line. No, sorry, but listen to him licking people's asses all the time. It's boring.
Got it.